It started with a scandal that divided my family, and ended with a death that destroyed it. When my father brought home a woman barely older than me, we thought the worst thing she could do was break his heart. We were wrong. Within a year, someone was dead and my dad was in handcuffs. Before we dig deep into this shocking story, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss real stories that reveal the darkest truths and biggest betrayals. I was 24 when my dad, James Harrison, invited me and my older sister Anne for dinner. He said he had someone special to introduce. My father was 56, a successful contractor, widowed for 5 years after losing my mom to cancer. When we arrived, there was Lena. Long dark hair, flawless skin, a smile that seemed rehearsed. She was 27. I remember blinking twice, wondering if I'd misheard when she introduced herself. My sister and I exchanged looks. This was not just a new girlfriend. This was trouble wrapped in red lipstick. Within weeks, Lena moved into Dad's house. She didn't work. She said she was building her own business. She started wearing expensive clothes, jewelry, all bought with Dad's credit cards. Anne told him straight, "She's using you." He brushed it off. "You girls need to respect my choices. Lena makes me happy," but the cracks were already showing. She was controlling, insisting she answer his phone, screening his calls, isolating him from old friends. One rainy night, I stopped by unexpectedly. Dad wasn't home, but Lena was, and so was a man I didn't recognize. They were in the kitchen, voices low but heated. He grabbed her wrist, she slapped him, and I heard her say, "Not here. He'll find out." The moment they saw me, Lena's expression turned sweet. "Oh, this is my cousin, Mark." But the way he looked at her, that wasn't family. By month 5, Dad's business account was bleeding money. Tens of thousands are gone. Lena convinced him to invest in her startup, a beauty line that didn't exist. Anne and I tried to intervene, but Dad refused to listen. Then the mood in the house shifted. Lena became paranoid. She said someone was following her, that Mark, the cousin, was dangerous. On a cold February night, police found Mark in his apartment, shot twice in the chest. No forced entry. No robbery. It didn't take long before suspicion fell on Dad. Lena told detectives Mark had been blackmailing her, threatening to ruin her life, and that she was terrified for her safety. She claimed Dad had said, "No one threatens my woman." 3 days later, police arrested my father for first-degree murder. The evidence was damning. CCTV from a nearby street showed his truck near Mark's apartment, gunpowder residue on his jacket. Lena's testimony that Dad left the house that night saying, "I'm going to fix this." When I saw him in the orange jumpsuit, he looked smaller, weaker, and all I could think was, did she plan this from the start? The courtroom was packed. Lena sat in the front row for the prosecution, weeping dramatically. She painted herself as a victim, a young woman trapped between a jealous lover and a violent ex. Dad's lawyer argued there was no proof he pulled the trigger. But every time the jury saw those photos of Mark's body, or heard Lena's trembling voice, I could feel the case slipping away. One night after court, Anne got a call from a blocked number. A man's voice said, "Lena set your dad up." Mark was her boyfriend. They were running a scam. He claimed Lena and Mark had been conning older men, draining their money, then cutting ties. When Mark got greedy and threatened to expose her, she turned to Dad and planted the idea that Mark was a danger to her. The jury took less than 4 hours. Guilty. Life without parole. Dad's face was unreadable as they led him away. But Lena? She didn't even attend the sentencing. Weeks later, she vanished with no forwarding address, no social media. I still visit Dad in prison. He won't admit what really happened. Sometimes I think he's protecting her even now. Sometimes I think he doesn't want to face the truth that the woman he loved led him to kill. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if Lena herself pulled the trigger and let him take the fall. 3 months after the sentencing, I went to see Dad. The visiting room smelled faintly of disinfectant and despair. He looked older, hair grayer, shoulders slumped. When I brought up Lena, his jaw tightened. "Drop it, Emily, she's not your concern anymore." I couldn't help myself. She is my concern. She's the reason you're here." He leaned in, voice low. "You think I don't know that? But proving it now, it won't get me out. And it won't bring your mother back." That was the first time I saw his eyes fill with tears, and the first time I wondered if maybe he wasn't telling me everything. One night, I got a call from a crime journalist named Victor Hale. He said he'd been investigating Lena for years. She had aliases in 3 different states and at least 4 older men in her past who'd lost fortunes, 2 of whom died under unusual circumstances. Victor claimed Lena used a pattern. 1. Target a wealthy, emotionally vulnerable man. 2. Convince him she's in danger from an ex or rival. 3. Manipulate him into protecting her, sometimes violently. He said he had photos of Lena and Mark from just weeks before the murder, looking very much in love. If that was true, it would destroy the image she painted in court. 2 weeks later, I received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It read, "Your father wasn't supposed to take the fall. He was supposed to run, but he stayed." My hands trembled. The handwriting was familiar. The same looping cursive from birthday cards Dad had shown me, signed by Lena. I took it straight to the prison, hoping it would spark something in Dad. But when he saw it, he didn't look shocked. He just sighed, folded it neatly, and slid it into his pocket. "Emily, sometimes loving someone means you carry their sins, even if it kills you." That sentence haunted me. 6 months later, I was walking out of a coffee shop downtown when I saw her. Lena. She was wearing oversized sunglasses, her hair now a deep auburn, holding the hand of an older man in a tailored suit. They looked happy. I froze, my heart pounding. She glanced at me, and for a split second, I saw recognition in her eyes. But then she smiled. Not a guilty smile, not an apologetic one, just the same confident, knowing smile she gave the day we first met. And at that moment, I realized Lena wasn't running. She didn't have to. People like her never do. A month after I saw Lena downtown, an unmarked manila envelope was slid under my apartment door. Inside were photographs of grainy surveillance shots of Lena entering a luxury hotel with a man I didn't recognize. There were also bank transfer receipts of hundreds of thousands, moving from his account to hers. And one sticky note. "She's working on her next, Mark. You can stop her or you can watch him die." I didn't know if it was a warning or a threat. I visited Dad again, clutching the file. I slid the photos across the table. "She's doing it again, Dad. We can still stop her." Dad, shaking head. "You think the police will listen to you after what they think I've done?" I told him about the note. He leaned forward, eyes sharp for the first time in months. "Dad, then it's not the police you need to convince. It's him. Before she convinces him to do something he can't undo." It took me 3 days to find the man in the photos. His name was Charles, a 62-year-old real estate developer. I approached him outside his office. At first, he brushed me off. But when I showed him the file and told him about my father, something in his expression shifted. He admitted Lena had told him a story about a dangerous ex who might come after her. He'd been thinking of hiring someone to handle it. I left him with one last sentence. "If you care about her, protect her by walking away. Because she doesn't need saving. She needs a new victim." I don't know if my words sank in, but a week later, Lena's social media vanished again. And this time, I wasn't sure if I was relieved or terrified. Now that you've heard it all, I want to know what you think. Do you believe my dad actually pulled the trigger? Or was he just another pawn in Lena's dangerous game? If you had been in my place, would you have gone to the police with that anonymous file or confronted Lena yourself? Do you think Charles, the new man in her life, listened to my warning? Or is he already too deep to walk away? And most importantly, if Lena is still out there, how many more victims will there be before someone finally stops her? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss real stories that reveal the darkest truths and biggest betrayals.